pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming out. You can't hear me. Hello. 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 I don't know what's wrong with this mic. We'll figure it out, but I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight on this cold winter evening.
Thank you. Mrs. Johnson. Here. Mrs. Weisberg. Here. Mrs. Bays. Here. Ms. Brooke.
Here. Ms. Julia. Here.
Here.
Thank you, Mrs. Callahan. Okay, I'm going to make a motion for the adoption of the agenda dated today, January 21st, 2020. Do I have a second? Mr. Kerpen, all in favor? Okay, motion is passed. We now have an opportunity for the community to comment and step up to the podium. I'd like to remind people that there is a 3-minute limit per person for each time you step up to that mic, and you'll be reminded when you're approaching the 3-minute mark. So please, if anybody has any student and or community comments, please approach. And also, I'm sorry, without the mic, I'm kind of lost. Please identify yourself. And there's also, I think, a sheet to sign up if it's still there, and put your email address on so we can get back to you if need be.
Hi, Happy New Year. Debbie Rudzinski, and I'm speaking here tonight to hopefully convince the Board of Education and the administration to continue to allow Schreiber students to volunteer in the Weber Pit Orchestra. And make no mistake, that is what this is, volunteering. This is volunteering to help the Weber Drama Club put on the amazing show that they have always been able to do thanks to the dedication of Mrs. Friedman and Ms. Portmore Davies. I followed the proper channels within the administration on this issue and got the same answer each time, regardless of the information I gave, including letters from students and parents. Some reasons the administration gave are that the shows run concurrently, the music is too hard, and that this volunteer opportunity is too much for these students, that this is what would put them over the edge, make them too busy to do homework. First, the music is not too hard for these students. Second, last year my daughter was a three-sport varsity athlete with a rigorous academic schedule. Playing in the Weber Pit was a small time commitment, and Mrs. Friedman is very accommodating, giving Schreiber activities the priority. Another concern raised by the administration is that middle school students will be spending time with students who are almost 18 years old. Well, what about volunteer opportunities with Curtains Up and Creative Readers? And middle schoolers playing up on high school sports teams. If there is concern that this takes these students away from the Schreiber programs, that's not true. These students are actively involved in Schreiber music programs, including the Schreiber Pit. Before this meeting, I emailed letters from students, parents, and professionals to the board. One professional that plays in the orchestra writes, the high schoolers that play with the young Weber students are mentors and role models. The student writes, helping someone and seeing the impact you can make on their life is an amazing feeling. In total, there are about 5 or 6 high school students that play in whoever pit each year? Why is the administration spending so much energy stopping them from volunteering? I'm asking the Board of Education to please encourage the administration to change their minds and allow these kids to continue doing something that they love. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Rudinsky.
Members of the board and Dr. Hines, I'm Olivia Platt, a science research student and participant in the Schreiber Mixed Choir. I'm one of the students affected by the Advanced Music Math 11H research conflict of junior year. Something you might not know about me is that I've been selected for all-county chorus every year since 5th grade. This past weekend, I performed in all-county and was on the verge of tears thinking that it could be the last time I would have the opportunity to participate in it. I have had many achievements in both the performing arts and the sciences. I have gotten NISMA scores ranging from 98 to 100 for the past 3 years. I have won first place in many science Olympiad competitions. I have also worked hard on several projects in science research, such as Medical Marvels, the Lexus Eco Challenge, and of course, my personal project about blood coagulation. The school district argument in terms of the conflict is that sometimes in life, we must make difficult choices. I completely understand this. However, throughout our academic careers, we have also been taught to work hard to achieve our goals. I have goals as both a researcher and a musician. Ever since 5th grade, I've been working towards the goal of doing an all-state audition. Our school district policy is that you cannot be recommended for all-state or all-county without actively participating in a school music ensemble. This scheduling conflict will rip my goals out from underneath me. Believe me, there is no choice in that at all. Dr. Hines, and this I directly address to you. We know that in the past you have fought incredibly hard for elementary school students to have extra recess. In a sense, music for me is like a recess, because it is a chance to breathe when my schedule is packed with rigorous academic courses. Dr. Hines, please fight for us. Fight for research days to have advanced music in their schedules. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Olivia, for your very articulate remarks.
Hello. My name is Sarika Azrani, and I'm a sophomore here at Schreiber. I am taking both mixed choir and social science research this year, and hope to be able to do so in coming years as well. However, as you know, it is not currently possible for me to take honors math research and any advanced music ensemble at the same time next year, as they hold conflicting time slots in the schedule. This is extremely upsetting to myself and many other students that are dedicated to both their academic and artistic pursuits. I have been committed to choir since elementary school, and I am an active participant in the Schreiber Theater Company. On the academic side, I am taking honors math and social science research. I have received national awards in French for several years, and I work hard every single day and push myself to be able to excel in both these areas. Please support students like me and allow us to continue to reach our highest potential. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I just remind anyone who is speaking, if you didn't do it yet, before you leave, could you write down your name and your note? Here.
Hi there. I'm Stacy Sager, mom of Olivia Platt. Let me start by saying we didn't come here for favors. We came here to ask for fairness. Fairness. Members of the board and Dr. Hines, as parents of science research and honors students, we can assure you that we've witnessed countless hours of hard work in our homes. My daughter, Olivia Platt, gives her classes 100% of her effort and time. Mixed choir is also one of her classes. I can hear her singing while she's studying, because music is her joy. She began investing her time in singing somewhere around age 9. Each year committed to chorus, and each year she's made all-county chorus and felt so honored to be chosen. She'd love a shot at making All-State next year. She deserves a shot at making All-State. But science is also her joy, no doubt about that. The potential schedule conflict at Schreiber can really hold these kids back. She's certainly not alone. The students who take research and honors math and have invested time and work into these more advanced music ensemble classes, they feel like there's this freight train coming and they can't stop it. They don't want to be shut out of these music classes next year because of Schreiber's block schedule problem. We realize that students do face choices between electives, of course, choices between AP courses. But our kids were not warned that they have to drop their music for honors math. It's not a choice. No music? By comparison, their peers in research who happen to be in the double skip math, they don't face this next year. They don't have to drop these music classes. So does that mean they do the all-county and our kids don't? Is that fair? Is Schreiber even creating a level playing field among all these advanced students who then apply to the same colleges? Dr. Pernick has not agreed to sit down with us yet as a group, and instead they do hope to treat us all as individual guidance issues. But if Schreiber won't bend on the block schedule, only so much can be done. Dr. Hines, in your position in the Patchogue-Medford district, you did value recess and lunch so much that you doubled it. Students need downtime, especially the ones with packed, rigorous schedules. Singing is stress relief. Music matters. Our kids are giving their time and effort. Is Schreiber? Why aren't we discussing ways to fix this? Why are we not discussing ways to make exceptions for a group of exceptional kids? Perhaps a block schedule doesn't permit thinking out of a box. What if a student's joy truly depends on it? Please consider that. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm another concerned parent of one of my daughters in the social science research program. My name is Julia Silva. My daughter is Jacqueline Ashley. She plays violin in the symphony orchestra, and she's now playing violin in the pit orchestra for the Muses. She and her classmates performed for you at the last board meeting on December 19th. No, not December 19th, I'm sorry, it was in, I believe it was in November or October. I just want to say something. Like the other kids in the research program, my daughter is extremely competitive academically. She's interested in applying to very competitive colleges. I'm not going to say that that's unimportant to you because it's extremely important. But the fact is, this is about more than that. It's about music, it's about education, and it's about commitment. When my daughter began to play violin in 4th grade, I very much hoped it would be a lifetime commitment to her, something that would bring joy into her life, and that she could turn to always as a way of expressing her creativity and emotions. The summer after 4th grade, my daughter lost her hearing on one side. It happened overnight, the result of a sudden illness. It's making me upset just to talk about it. One of the horrors of that is that music no longer sounded the same to her. I don't mind telling you I was heartbroken. We worried that she might not be able to play an instrument at all. But she taught me that the brain and the heart are resilient, and that even though she could only hear the music in one ear, it still brought her joy. With the help of committed teachers and her own stubbornness, she not only continued to play, but advanced to chamber orchestra at Weber, and now symphony orchestra at Schreiber, and of course, Muses. But I worry that that lifetime of joy I want for her is at risk. I don't think I need to tell you that when a kid picks up an instrument in 11th grade, there's a great possibility he or she will never pick it up again. I want you also to know what our children's music means to us as parents. Before every concert, I'm sorry I'm getting too emotional. Before every concert in the fall and spring, I come into this beautiful auditorium and I say to myself, this is what I live for. That may sound overly dramatic, but it's true. I sometimes want to say it to Mr. Pinelli, but I'm afraid he's going to think I'm a weirdo. But really, there's nothing better than seeing these young people on this stage, seeing your child and classmates making this extraordinary music talent, making people happy. Music is meant to lift the spirit, restore the soul forever. When I came to this year's holiday concert, I had a hole in my soul. My father died on December 6th, a few weeks before the concert. I felt just awful. And when I came to this auditorium, I said to myself, I still have this. My father was a simple person. He didn't go to college or even graduate school. Instead, he was drafted in 1945 and sent to the Philippines. For many years, he was a school custodian and then a bus driver in the Northwood School District. I cannot imagine how proud he was of his granddaughter's accomplishments in academics, in art, and in music. He bought her a violin for Christmas 2 years ago. He couldn't attend the concerts, but he loved seeing the videos on my iPad. I played my video of the Symphony Orchestra's performance at the board meeting for him a few weeks before he died. So anyway, I sat there in the audience on December 19th and watched my daughter playing the violin for Grandfather B, and I listened to the beautiful music flowing in, and I felt a little bit better. Everyone has a story, and I just told you 4 hours. Every one of these children here tonight, every one of these children whose parents are here tonight, and others whose parents couldn't come, every child has his or her own story. They are individual people, not checkmarks on a booklet. They have each made a serious commitment to their music, often with many, many hours of practice, and also with great success. And please remember that they are, in fact, still children. Some people are talking about the need to make tough choices in life. Some of the kids here mentioned that they were told they need to make tough choices in life. This is not a choice for these students. There are adults who are making this decision for them. It's simply not reasonable to say that music or math is a decision, a choice. Dr. Hines, every Sunday night we hear your voice in the phone, which is wonderful. But these kids want you to hear their voices, just as you want us to hear us. Because I can tell you, they feel like they're being silenced. They're worried not only that they will be shut out of the music ensembles they've devoted so many hours to, but also shut out of extracurriculars like all county festivals, music honor society, and even pit orchestra for the springtime. No more music for Jacqueline. So ask me, we're all asking you, please hear us. Please hear Jacqueline and Maylene and Natalie and Alex and Olivia and Sarika and Emily and on. Please make the same commitment to them that they've made to their music and to their schools. So at least try to find a solution that would work for your students, that will work for everyone. Thank you. And I start back with the motion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also here to voice my concern and make the board aware of this scheduling conflict issue, as many of our students and parents have so eloquently expressed the potential devastating effect of this schedule conflict. I'll try to be brief and just emphasize a few points on this. First, number one, this is not an isolated case of individual students, because it has been affecting the same group of research students every single year. And if we don't try to resolve it, it will continue impacting our students negatively in Port Washington School District going forward. This is also a case that's relatively unique in our school district, as research students in grade F, for example, are not facing this type of schedule conflict. Number two, these are not students who don't know that they need to make tough choices in their curriculum. As a matter of fact, they've already made a lot of tough choices in order to make music into their schedule. My daughter, for example, gave up being on the gymnastics team first, and then she gave up taking the art so that she could continue taking music. Now we're telling her that we can't even, let her continue taking the advanced music class that she got in. And that's just devastating to her. Number three, these students have worked really hard, years of work, to get to where they are in music. Now, because of this potential scheduling conflict, which they have no control of, they're barred from joining many extracurriculars in music, such as jazz band, pit orchestra, and further disqualified as all-county and all-state candidates. If, for whatever reason, that the school district cannot resolve this scheduling conflict issue in the near term, perhaps we could at least revisit the policies or make exceptions to accommodate the students as much as we can, especially as exceptions have been granted to some current students, so that they can be qualified for all-county and all-states and other activities, including the web orchestra if they choose to. Thank you for listening to my concerns and suggestions.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Hughes Parker, and I'm going to be very brief because the students and parents have made many good points on this topic. I will say that I actually have two daughters affected by this in 11H, will be in 11H math, in social science research, and also in mixed choir. I realize actually cannot happen, but that would be the plan. They have actually taken it in stride. They are so glad that Fort has a social science research program. They adore it. Actually, as you know, it's actually a much smaller research program than one of our peer schools, so they feel very privileged to be in it. The absence of English, acceleration, and enrichment in Fort until 11th, really 12th grade, has made this research class even more valuable to kids who like to read and write in an intellectually stimulating environment. So taking away research for them is really not an option. There's been a lot said about choices, and in the high school, certainly kids have to make choices, and these kids have to make a lot of choices. That's to be expected. But these kids are expected to make a choice that's unrealistic. Here, there's no real choice provided on the level that these kids have worked to achieve. In fact, the argument can be made that the burden falls heaviest on those with the least resources, those families who cannot afford to enrich their gifted kids outside of school with writing, with music that is not provided inside of school. That's where the burden really falls. And in general, the idea that I've heard a lot that kids who are doing really well in school will be fine is tantamount to a relinquishment of the responsibility of the school to meet their needs, the way we must and we should meet the needs of other kinds of students. Thanks.
First of all, to our students, you are incredibly eloquent, and I appreciate your words, and they are not falling on deaf ears at all. So much appreciated. And to our parents who are not only passionate but clearly extremely articulate as far as what the concerns are, I thank you as well. I know your emails are there, your names are there, and I will continue to work with Dr. Pernick, and I'll be in touch with all of you very soon. So thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
Hello. I'm still trying. Okay, I just want to echo what Dr. Hines just said, and thank you to every student and every parent who got up and spoke. Your comments are not falling on deaf ears, and I very much admire your commitment, your strength, and your eloquence. And we are listening, and we will be discussing this. So I thank you for coming out and sharing your concerns. I'm going to keep the rest of my opening remarks very short. I just want to point out two items on the agenda, because usually we just go through it, go through things very quickly. And item 8A, there is an award tonight of tenure to Alyssa Cohn. I don't know if Alyssa Cohn is here tonight. Okay, Alyssa Cohn is being awarded tenure. I want to congratulate you on behalf of the board, the administration, and the community. Thank you very much, and well done. And the other item I just want to note before we run through the agenda later on in the this evening's events is item D, 1A, and I think most of the people here have already heard. I would just like to take note of the fact that our wonderful Dr. Wafra Westerfeld has given notice of her retirement. She will be with us until June 30th. We plan to make use of every second of that time, but we do understand that it's time for her to move on, and we will wish her the best, and this will be the first of many times you hear about it, but I just wanted to make note if anybody didn't notice that it's in tonight's agenda. We will be voting on whether we even accept it, so if maybe I'm jumping the gun. Okay, now the certificates of excellence, and I think that is Ms. Gillier has them. Am I right? Yeah. Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry.
I have. Oh, maybe not a mic. Is that working? Yes. Okay. The following students receiving certificates were selected as Regeneron Scholar semifinalists. The competition is sponsored by the Society for Science and the Public, which founded the competition in 1942. It formerly was sponsored by Intel, and before that, Westinghouse Corp. They are among 300 students named Regeneron STS Scholars and hope to be among 40 finalists named later this month. The scholars were selected based on their exceptional research skills, commitment to academics, innovative thinking, and promise as scientists. These students were selected from 1,993 U.S. and international entries, and they will each receive a $2,000 award with an additional $2,000 going to the high school to support STEM education. At this time, we would like to congratulate Priya Chainani and Jamie Levin. Please come up. Congratulations also to their teacher, Elizabeth Thomas. You can shake everybody's hands.
You were hearing it before, right? You were hearing it before we were back.
I can hear them. I hear them.
Now we're going to have a report by our
Okay, at this point, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Shields for an enrollment update.
Good evening. Last enrollment report was taken on the 15th of this month, and when you compare it to 1 year ago, our enrollment right now is at 5,398 students. That's 26 students less than this time last year.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Shields. Before I go into my very brief general update, again, I want to thank our students who took the time to come out tonight to voice their concerns. Again, I'm very proud of you for doing so, and certainly for our parents as well. It's very much appreciated, and I will be in touch with all of you. To reiterate what President Johnson just said about Dr. Westervelt, you know, she is a legend. I knew about her before I even came here, and it really, I hope it has nothing to do with me. With the fact that you are retiring, it is a real loss for the school district. And to let the community know, there is a search. Well, there's a posting right now, and you know, even though we will be replacing the irreplaceable, we will have a very strong candidate pool, and the process will unfold very soon, and we will keep the community updated as we do so. The second update has to do with our calendar for next year. So I know I'm probably averaging 25 phone calls a day to district office, and I'm not saying that tongue-in-cheek. It really is true, and I want to be very mindful again of our families in the school community in regard to their planning for next year. So I will tell you that we received the BOCES calendar on Friday, so that wasn't very long ago, and we are still working with a couple of different cohorts here within our school district. But I will say one thing that I think the community should know, which is at least the first day of school. That is something I think, actually, I know I can share. So let me at least share that now, and then I'm hoping that the Board of Education will look to approve by our next board meeting the full district calendar. So what we're looking at right now is the first day of school for our students will be on Wednesday, September 2nd. So that will be the first day of school. From there, I can't really comment too much more, but I at least want to put that out there as for general information. And then finally, I just want to give a very quick update regarding, mark on your calendar, on February 25th, we will have our first State of the District, which I will be talking about some of the things that I've been fortunate enough to have conversations with so many of our community members. So I will talk about what I've found, and then certainly unpack what we are looking to do next year as far as our vision, mission, so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to sharing that information with our school community. And that will be at a board meeting, so I'm hoping you would be here already, and we're hoping to have more people here as we talk about the state of the district. So that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hines. Actually, the way that the agenda is structured, we'll do a separate vote for item 8A, and that is the award of tenure for Alyssa Cohn, who I think may have, is she still here? No, because I jumped the gun a little bit. Okay, well, we can tell her how the vote came out. I'm going to make a motion based on the recommendation of the superintendent to award tenure to Alyssa Cohn, who is a paraprofessional at Daly. Do I have a second? Okay, Mrs. Weisberg. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. I am now making a motion for the approval of the minutes dated January 7th, 2020. Do I have a second, Mr. Kerpen? Okay, all those in favor? Good, thank you. Now, Dave, did you have another?
No, it's related to one of the action items, so it can wait.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now item 10 is a brief discussion item regarding our upcoming legislative task force community forum that I think was just alluded to, but we'll have a little bit of an update.
Okay, so Governor Cuomo today released his executive budget proposal for next year, the 2021 state fiscal year. And with this, the governor proposes an $826 million or a 3% increase in school aid. Now, the Educational Conference Board estimates that a $1.6 billion increase will be needed if schools are to maintain current services. So clearly, these numbers are not aligning. And the Division of the Budget State Financial Plan has been projecting a $1.1 billion or 4% increase for 2020-21. So basically, what's happening is foundation aid that all school districts deserve in the state of New York, again, it looks like will not be fully funded. And this impacts us as a school district. Now, I'm hoping that you are aware that we are having a community forum on January 30th, and it will take place here at 7 p.m. And we will discuss how the Port Washington School District is standing up for a fair share of state aid. Thanks to our legislative task force, which is spearheaded by Emily Bays and Larry Greenstein. Now, the reality is we have a $4 million difference or deficit each year. And that's a lot of money, and if you compound that over 5 years, we're close to being owed $20 million, which is a significant amount of money that all of our students deserve. So if our foundation aid was fully funded, we would be able to afford more things such as lower class size, which I know is a concern at Weber and certainly at Schreiber, and in some cases some of our other schools as well. And it does impede our ability to, I believe, send our students to BOCES for career and technical education, which is incredibly important for all students if they so choose that that's the direction they want to go in. So at this forum, we will discuss how we streamlined instructional staff over the past X amount of years despite increased enrollment. Over the years, as school district, again, we talk about choices, we've had to make tough decisions by cutting non-mandated programs to pay for core services, and we will talk about that at the forum. And then finally, the Board of Ed Legislative Task Force has been tirelessly, I believe, actively advocating for taxpayers, and we hope, again, you can join us in a call to action when this forum does take place on January 30th. So we will have our state legislators. We are looking to make sure, to the best of our ability, that they can make it. And we look forward to you joining us on this day. And certainly as the date draws closer, we will send reminders out on social media, on our website, so on and so forth. So that is our update. And
yeah, just a quick thing. The governor released his school runs this year, and there's a 3% increase throughout the district. We are at 2.55. Roslyn is at 5.10. Great Neck is at 3.13. Jericho is at 3.5, and they spend significantly more than we do per student. And Herrick's came in at 7.76. So you can see, I didn't, we're not the lowest. There are some districts lower than us, but certainly we're on the lower tier of all of our peer districts. So we do have a lot of work cut out for us this year.
You didn't hear a word I said, did you? No. Never mind. Should I say it again? Okay. Yeah, that doesn't work. They're not working. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, and thank you for your name. Yes? Okay, get the word out for us, please. We're doing our best here to get it out into the public, but we need your help. Now we are going to move on to our committee reports. The first of which is Policy and Personnel, and Mrs. Bays, please.
Yes. I don't know if you'll hear me, Policy and Personnel is meeting at 9:15 at the annex. We will be discussing many different policies and a kind of a continuation that from our December meeting. We discussed board committees, standing committees, special committees. We will also have an update with regards to our academic integrity policy that we started discussing last month as well. So 9:15 tomorrow at the annex.
Thank you. Next up, we have a report from Mr. Kerpen on.
Thank you, President Johnson. Thank you, President Johnson. Our Budget and Facilities meeting occurred last week. We had a fantastic budget presentation from Dr. Pernick on his vision for what the Schreiber budget would look like if he built it from the ground up. And so thank you, Dr. Pernick, again for that presentation. We also talked about roof financing options, the continued saga of how to fund our much-needed roof rehabilitation and or replacement. And finally, we continue to solidify the subcommittee on the Sands Point property and how to generate revenues and or services for our school district. If you are interested in serving on that subcommittee, I am still accepting volunteers. It's going to be a great, fun subcommittee, as fun as any subcommittee has ever been. And you can email me at dkerpen, K-E-R-P-E-N, at portnat.org. Our first meeting will be in the next 2 weeks. And if you're on the subcommittee already, I sent out a note. Please fill out the doodle. Thank you. And our next budget meeting is coming up soon. And Ms. Callahan, am I correct in that it is coming up next Tuesday, the 28th of January, at 10 a.m. at the Kathleen Mooney Annex at the Daily School. So I hope you can join us. If you can't join us, you can listen to the podcast at boepodcast.com, and you can get updates not only on the Budget and Facilities meeting, but all the committee meetings at boepodcast.com.
Thank you, Mr. Kerpen. Now we'll have a quick update on safety and substance from Mrs. Weisberg. Oh, I always forget curriculum, and I really don't, but my eyes skip over it. Okay, curriculum, and we have Ms. Gilliar.
We're going to have to make sure that whoever that new assistant superintendent of curriculum is keeps her eye on you, since you keep trying to get rid of curriculum. So the curriculum committee has not met since our last Board of Ed meeting, since this is our second Board of Ed meeting of the month. But we are meeting again next week. It's going to be a big week for committee meetings, Wednesday, January 29th at the Annex, and Dr. Westerfeld and Dr. Allen will be talking about special education in Port Washington. I hope you can join us, but if you can't, please listen to the podcast afterwards and feel free to email any additional comments or questions to me individually or the entire board.
President, whoa, exciting. Sorry about that. We now have full audio for a moment. President Johnson, I'm sorry to interrupt. I have one more update, brief update about the Budget and Facilities Committee. I wanted to actually thank the Teachers Union for hosting you, President Johnson, and me in a very inspiring meeting, the purpose of which was to discuss possible revenue generation ideas for the district, and the teachers brought a heck of a lot of great ideas to the table. So I thank the teachers for hosting us and for your spirit of collaboration and your excellent ideas.
I second that. Thank you very much. Now, I want to double check that I'm not skipping anything. I think we're up to safety and substance.
Safety and Substance also has not met, but they did change the date of their meeting. So the meeting is rescheduled for January 30th. That's Thursday, January 30th at 12:15 in the Kathy Mooney Annex.
Okay, now I'm not going to forget my own diversity committee. We actually met last Wednesday on the 15th, and for the first time this year, well, actually for the first time this school year, we had an evening meeting, which I'm very happy to say we had an excellent turnout for. And, you know, you never know when you schedule an evening meeting because it's very hard for people to, you know, sometimes to come out at night. But we try our best to bring in as many people as we can. And this time the plan worked. So we had like a full room. And the topic was a terrific documentary that Shirley Shapiro, my co-chair on that committee, had found. And it's called I Learn America. It's a film that was made in 2012, and it follows a group of English language learners, in a school that is dedicated in Brooklyn, I believe, solely to L students. Very inspirational, very informative, deals with the daily lives of those students, to some extent, the home, you know, where they came from originally, and what they have to confront every day in their daily school lives and their home lives. We're actually trying to figure out the best way that we can show the film in its entirety or parts of it in a different venue, just so that everybody can get the experience and get the learn from this film. As I say, it's really instructive and very powerful. Our next meeting, where we will be discussing the film and people's impressions and some other agenda items which we haven't completely decided yet, will be on February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, but it's during the day, so you don't have to, you know, not go out that night for the holiday. And it's at noon at the Kathy Mooney Annex. As I say, at 214 at noon. So come, everyone. We are all invited. Thank you. The last, we have the Legislative Task Force, which we've touched upon. I don't know if there's anything anybody wants to add. I assume not, but go ahead.
Perhaps now you can hear me. No, nothing new to add, except that I will say what I said earlier, that the Legislative Task Force is having this forum on the 30th. We ask that you all attend. As you heard Larry say, some of the first runs have come out from the governor, and it does not seem as if Port Washington is getting their fair share of the pie compared to our neighboring school districts. So strength in numbers, and the more people that attend, the more people's our voice can be heard, and we can try to make a difference. We do have a meeting, thank you. We have our meeting scheduled on February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd. That is our regular meeting, where we will probably be debriefing what happened at our forum, so all are welcome to that as well.
Thank you. Now, moving on to our action items. Going to make a motion for the adoption of items 12A1 through D14A. Do I have a second? Mrs. Weisberg, all in favor? And, okay.
I just wanted to make a comment, President Johnson, on item D2A. We have, I believe, just approved the resignation for the purpose of retirement of Dr. David O'Connor, social studies teacher. And I wanted to comment that a school district is only as good as its teachers. And as a parent, I have been blessed to have had Dr. O'Connor as a teacher not once but twice for two of my children. And he had a terrific and very meaningful impact on both of them. And I am super grateful to Dr. O'Connor, and I am reminded of the power of a great teacher. When we lose one to retirement, it is a great reminder for all of us of just how meaningful and valuable great teachers are. So thank you to Dr. O'Connor and to all of our amazing teachers that impact our lives.
Okay, thank you for that. Before moving on, there are a couple, actually quite a few tonight, items where I want to make some special shout-outs, special thank yous to some very generous individuals, school and outside organizations. I'd like to thank I thank the Dr. E.K. and Joyce Memorial Scholarship for their generous donation. I would like to thank the J.D. Blumenfeld Memorial Scholarship for awarding a nice sum of money to a graduating senior student. They have endowed that scholarship from a senior Paul Schreiber student. I would also like to thank and accept the donation from the Manor Haven PTA for their beautification project at the Manor Haven Elementary School. Thank you to the Manor Haven PTA for a piece of equipment for the playground. I'd also like to thank the Salem HSA for the funds that they are donating that will be applied to the dancing classroom program. I'd like to thank the Salem also HSA for their generous, again, another generous contribution to the after-school STEM program. The Daily HSA is, I thank you for, again, another generous contribution to the dancing classroom program at Daly. We are also, with great thanks, thanking the Sousa HSA for their donation for the dancing classroom program at Sousa. Let me see if there's any more dancing classrooms. I could bunch them together. No, this is a thank you to the Ed Foundation for a grant for the Scrabble Club at Sousa. I'd like to thank the Guggenheim HSA for a substantial donation that's going to be applied to a variety of STEM equipment purchases for students that need them, grades K to 5, and that will be very much appreciated at Guggenheim. And lastly, I'd like to thank, again, the Salem Elementary School HSA for their donation for the second grade circus that's scheduled for February 12th at South Salem. Thank you, everybody. It's these generous donations that help us do the programming and the initiatives that we do that make us so special. Thank you all.
Excuse me, just to clarify on item C8, the donation was from the Sousa HSA to the Ed Foundation. The donation was from the Sousa HSA to the Ed Foundation, just to correct the record. That's okay.
Next item, we are going to approve the following, we're going to vote on the approval, I should say, of the following policies for adoption with the recommendation of our superintendent, and that is policy 2325 regarding emergency meetings and policy 2340 for the notings of meetings policy. All those in favor of adopting these policies as written and revised. Okay, first we need a second. Okay, Mrs. Weisberg, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Any old business? Any new business? Now we have another opportunity for the community to be heard. Please feel free to come back and step up to the mic. Anybody? Okay, thank you. Well, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting with one caveat that our next meeting is February 4th at Schreiber at 8 o'clock. And as we said before, the meeting after that will be the February 25th meeting, which will also be here, most likely starting at 8, but will that change, you think, or no? Okay. Starting at 8 o'clock, and that meeting, you'll hear more about it, but that will be the meeting where Dr. Hines plans to present his State of the District. Not here?
No, that meeting's usually at Weber. Yeah, because the Schreiber meeting
Show?
is that week.
Okay, there's a little back and forth up here as to where the meeting on the 25th of February will take place, but we will.
It's currently listed at the Schreiber Library, just so I don't know